Now, here's a story that had my head scratching as I watched the developments over the last week. First, I saw an op-ed piece, letter to the editor, written by the president and CEO of the Greater Desert Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce against an initiative being taken on the agenda by the Desert Hot Springs City Council, where they were going to take a look at raising the minimum wage in that city. Well, we get to the city council meeting. It's a new city council with all the elections and new swearing in. And all of a sudden, yanked off of the agenda is the battle over minimum wage. And I just wonder how Heather Colodonato must have felt pretty good about that and whether her letter to the editor influenced that getting pulled off of the agenda. Heather, good morning. And I guess you feel like you had at least a minor victory for the time being right there.
Yes, good morning. A minor victory currently.
Well, let's talk a bit about this now. Exactly what is it that the City Council is looking to do with the minimum wage in Desert Hot Springs?
Well, this was not the first time that the City Council brought this item before the public for consideration. This was actually attempted back in the close of 2014, and with the recusal of Adam Sanchez at the time to participate in the vote, the item had died.
You're breaking up a bit there, Heather. You still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, what I was saying is that this was brought back after it had been attempted and died back in 2014. So with that, it wasn't a new item for us to research and take a look at, but it was a great concern to not only the chamber, but to businesses and the community at large. And basically, the proposed ordinance was a ruse.
And how so?
Well, because when you look at the numbers and the statistics and the way that the ordinance was written, it is targeting and was targeting a specific demographic of retail. So let's make no bones, no mistakes about it. It's directly, immediately targeted to the one big box retailer that had purchased land and is considering building, which was Walmart.
So you really think it's solely aimed at that? I mean, you know, talking about the argued that the city's household income about $32,000 in 2013, and this isn't, you know, this pay increase is looking to address some of the problems of the median income there, but it's really aimed at Walmart. And, you know, Walmart has a reputation, whether it's deserved or not anymore. You know, there are people that are their Walmart detractors. There are people that love Walmart. We hear about how they feel their employees are underpaid and under-benefited, and also we hear about how Walmart puts smaller businesses out of business. I don't know that that's the case anymore. There aren't too many mom-and-pop hardware stores floating around anymore anyway, whether that's Walmart and Home Depot's fault or not. But you really believe that this is solely targeted at that, or are there other targets that would fall under this umbrella?
Well, under this umbrella, other targets would fall. However, let's take a look at the city of Desert Hot Springs. Okay, we've seen year over year retail development going to other sister cities. You see the East Valley exploding in retail development, and they're thriving. As a matter of fact, just in the last, year and a half, a Walmart supercenter popped up over in North Indio. Has that killed business in downtown Indio? No. Has that killed business in Indio at large? No. The interesting thing is when you try to make and continue to make the city of Desert Hot Springs a island unto itself, separate from the rest of the valley, with something like this, whether it's non-inclusive to the entire employer population in Desert Hot Springs, or whether it just doesn't make sense for a struggling small city that is lacking infrastructure, lacking significant retail development, along with other development. Let's look at the numbers. You know, I've been part of the city's economic development committee and team that's gone out for retail recruitment for the last several years. When we're going to ICSC out in Las Vegas or in San Diego and we're looking to recruit those retailers to come into the city and entice them to show what we have to offer, you know, in the earlier years of my term there as chamber president and CEO, they didn't want to take meetings with us. Major retailers weren't interested. They were looking and bypassing us. Then when they heard that Walmart bought the land, it's the adage, you build it, they will come. Then they started to take us seriously and take a look at our numbers, look at our traffic counts, look at our population. You know, we bleed $260 million a year in retail to our other neighboring sister cities. Then when you look at the numbers of the stats by zip code for purchases made by Desert Hot Springs residents in other sister cities, let's just use Walmart in and of itself, that's about $27 million annually spent in other Walmarts here in the desert cities. So you have to sit back and go, let's take a look at this and look really hard. You know, when you look at from the retailer's perspective, whether it be Target, Walmart, Winco, any of them, if you're going to look at a city that wants to have specific minimum wage rates set for it, and then you look at Coachella, for example, that doesn't currently, where would you want to go and do business possibly where it's going to be less expensive, right?
Well, you know, you're really good at getting the specifics of this, and I'm going to do a dummies version of this for myself, and you tell me, and Brennan.
I got one more new stat for you, too.
Go ahead, give it to me.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. According to my reports that I've pulled from EDD, October 2015 preliminary numbers, this is based upon the labor force data, okay? For Desert Hot Springs specific, the labor force is 11,200. The employment number of that, the current number of employed individuals of that labor force is 10,300. Currently, that leaves 900 individuals, according to the EDD, that are collecting unemployment. Now, you know that those numbers are slightly skewed because other people that aren't collecting unemployment for whatever reasons anymore, right? But looking at the labor force numbers, 11,200, right?
Right.
Then you look at the other stats that I've pulled from the state city data that my higher office officials gave me access to when I was doing my research. Looking at that, do you know how many people, according to these statistics, actually live and work in Desert Hot Springs?
What's that?
1,211, according to this last reporting that I have. Of that, 203 of them work at home. So that leaves about 1,007 or so that of the workforce actually are the ones that live and work in Desert Hot Springs. Desert Hot Springs is the working bedroom community that works in our other sister cities. So of the remaining 1,007 that actually work in Desert Hot Springs, that live in Desert Hot Springs, how many of those would have fallen under this ordinance and been qualified to receive the benefits, proposed benefits of the minimum wage increase? Not one. Not one. Because the other businesses that currently exist in Desert Hot Springs don't meet these qualifications that were set in this ordinance. So it was a ruse.
You know, we've had Mayor Scott Mattis on and, after he got elected and discussed the problems facing Desert Hot Springs. We had the new police chief on, a month or two ago, discussing all the problems that he faces in Desert Hot Springs. Obviously, there's reality and there's image problems here beyond, you know, a lot of individuals' reaches, and it's going to take a collective effort. To me, it's just beyond stupidity why a community would want to make it harder to bring businesses into Desert Hot Springs with all the negative vibe that's gone on there. Why add on to that list? And that's my version for dummies on this.
I agree with you 100%, and that's the position that I personally took as a professional, a business professional. That's the position that our board took, and that's the position that the business community and residents took as they sent and bombarded my email with their electronic signed petition saying, no, we don't want the city council to pass this ordinance. Tell them no.
And you said you think that this was a temporary victory. Do you think it'll come up again in front of the city council?
Well, you know, it depends on the city council structure in regards to how some of what you would consider majority might want to move forward. It's interesting. Our freshman city councilwoman, Anieli Savala, I have hope. I have very specific hope with her sitting up there on the dais now, because she seems to be, from my professional opinion and time that I've spent with her before she was elected into office, and then my meeting with her yesterday, she seems to be an independent millennial thinker, and she's an educated woman. So it's not going to be so easy for some people on that dais to bully her, which is exactly what we need. We need intelligent individuals on that dais that are going to make intelligent business decisions for the betterment of that community. And if Anieli Savala stands her ground and stays that course, I think we're going to see some really good business happening in Desert Hot Springs going forward.
Well, and in talking to the mayor and in talking to the police chief, rays of optimism come, and it sounds like you're holding out hope for some, and maybe the town, geez, what town can't have a Walmart, for goodness sakes, anymore? And
I know. The national issues, national perceptions, national problems are not for the city of Desert Hot Springs to be taking up, plain and simple.
They're fighting a battle. They're fighting windmills. It's Don Quixote.
Yeah.
And Heather Coladonato, thank you so much for your time. Very smart insights, and keep fighting the good fight up there.